Hello, friends, and namaste. Welcome back to the Sacred Space with me, your host Preetha Lal, as we spend some time reading the book Eternal Values for a Changing Society by the late Srimad Swami Ranganathananda ji. If you are following this podcast, you are aware that Swami Ranganathananda was the 13th president of the Ramakrishna Mathan mission, but he was also so much more, as is evident in the readings. He was a philosopher and a teacher. He was a monk, a scholar par excellence, a guru, and a spiritual ambassador for India. This multi-volume treatise that I have decided to read to you through this podcast is a testament to the vast breadth of his knowledge and the immeasurable depth of his wisdom. Today, we will read a short but a very significant chapter titled The Avatara as a History Maker, where the Swami gets into a very unique and poignant perspective of Indian spiritual tradition, the concept of the avatar. In today's parlance, the word avatar has a very comic or a comedic but a well-meaning reference to a caricature of oneself, whether it's in a movie or a social media platform and the like. This is the 21st century, and in our 21st episode, let us go back to the origin of this word and find out what the Swami talks about in the wisdom behind it. Let us begin, friends. The Avatara as the History Maker. Introduction. A rational temper and approach, a spiritual aim and purpose, a passion for the welfare of the human as human and not as divided into sects and creeds, and above all, a spirit of harmony and fellowship, these are some of the salient features of the religion and philosophy of the Upanishads, which have marked the Indian spiritual tradition with the stamp of the eternal and the perennial. The strength of the impersonal behind the Indian spiritual tradition. As the earliest and most comprehensive exposition of this tradition, the Bhagavad Gita carries a weight and authority in India next only to the Upanishads. In the Upanishads, we move in a world of thought, intense, rarefied and pure, in the atmosphere of which even the personalities of the thinkers get melted into the impersonal, moving on air so thin and rare, the rishis, sages have left no visible footprints. Their personalities have become fused with their thoughts, and what we get is an impersonal body of truths drawn from experience and tested by experience. This impersonal start has been like a rock foundation to Indian spiritual tradition, enabling later centuries to erect a wide and lofty cultural edifice in the life of a seventh of the human race. The foundation so laid has imparted to this edifice an element of stability and resilience, ensuring tenacity to meet tension and steadfastness to meet strain, and a continuity through assimilative power, which is one of the wonders of world history. During the 5,000 years of this history, storms have blown over it, invasions have battered it, subjection has humiliated it, and revolutions have convulsed it. Edifices everywhere have tumbled and crumbled in the past under a fraction of such impact. Similar things are happening even in the present. But one has not only stood them all, but every time has emerged stronger to greet the world with new bursts of energy. History has demonstrated that India is ever aging but never old. If after 5,000 years the people of India feel the freshness and vigor of youth today and an era of struggle and achievement opening out before them tomorrow, the credit goes to the sages of the Upanishad for the enduring foundations that they furnished to the Indian national life at the very commencement of its career. We will do well to remember these sages today and learn from them and pay due homage to them for what they mean to us and to the world. The impersonal as the womb of personality. The Upanishadic atmosphere, though impersonal in itself, was yet the womb of a galaxy of personalities who have brightened up the sky of India in the succeeding eras. The first of such was Sri Rama, the hero of Valmiki's Ramayana. The second was Sri Krishna, the hero of Vyasa's Mahabharata and the teacher of the Gita. These two heroes dominate the pages of Indian cultural history, being the most outstanding and most effective personalities for later ages. In them, the impersonal idea of the Upanishads becomes defined as character and personality. The word becomes flesh. It is possible to study the Upanishads without reference to the personalities of the rishis, but not so in the case of the teachings of the personalities beginning with Rama and Krishna. There is a close correlation between the teacher and the teaching. The teachers are not mere individuals, but world-moving forces, being condensations of their own ideology. This is also the case of Buddha and Shankara, Ramakrishna and Vivekananda. They are archetypal characters representing a happy synthesis of the personal and the impersonal, in whom are focused the spiritual and moral urges and loyalties of the age. These are epoch makers of the Indian history, being embodiments of its spiritual dynamics. Idea defined is character. Character is definition in terms of personality. Ideas in the womb of the Upanishads become, as it were, defined as character in these personalities. Sri Krishna is the supreme example of this synthesis, a personality warm, genial, vigorous, and human, and with it so impersonal. Viewed in the context of human history, the term Avatara, or the divine incarnation, as applied to these outstanding heroes, seeks to convey this unique quality in the stature and dimension of their personalities. The Avatara is the synthesis of the impersonal and the personal, of the divine and the human. He is at once individual and universal. The Avatara as a dynamic energy center. One important feature of the Avatara concept, the one that is most significant from the point of view of cultural history, is the quality of dynamism associated with the term. The Avatara, unlike an ordinary saint, is not a static guide like a lighthouse. He is, in the words of Sri Ramakrishna, a large-sized ship capable of carrying thousands of people across the waters of life. He appears on the world scene to establish dharma, righteousness, in the words of Sri Krishna in the Gita. He sets in motion the wheel of dharma, says Bhagavan Buddha in his first sermon. And the motive force of both is the identical one of the happiness and welfare of millions. Sarva Bhuta Hita or Bahujana Hita and Bahujana Sukha. Paradoxical as it may seem, the richness and fullness of their personalities is the product of their impersonal attitudes and motives, which are the driving forces behind their life and actions. I have nothing to gain in these three worlds, O Arjuna, says Sri Krishna in the Gita, and yet I work incessantly for the good of the world as an example of humankind. Theirs is a standing example that validates the ethical truth that the height of a personality is directly proportional to the depth of its impersonality. To find life, we have to lose it first. Matthew 16:25. World interpretation versus world transformation. The Avatara, as understood in India, is an epoch maker, a spiritual dynamo from which emanate man-making and nation-making forces. In him, philosophy as idea becomes transformed into philosophy as will and purpose and endeavor. If philosophy as idea is primarily concerned with interpreting the world, philosophy as will and purpose is deeply interested in the transformation of it in terms of its idea. The Avatar as epoch maker is the fusion of idea and will and endeavor. And this is also the definition of Ishvara, God in Vedanta. He is the synthesis of jnana, ichcha and kriya, knowledge, will and action. All people of effective character are dynamos of such synthesis in more or less degree, but their powers are limited in scope and circumscribed in motive, being not wholly free from limitations of individuality. Unlike them, however, The Avatara functions as a perennial source of power and beneficence for a whole epoch and continues to be a source of general inspiration ever after. It will thus be seen that the Marxian distinction between the philosophers who merely interpret the world and those who transform it has long been known and acted upon in India. In this, we were Marxists long before Marxist philosophy was born in Europe. The Avatara, according to Indian thought, is the world transformer. In him, idea becomes yoked to will, purpose, and endeavor. He does not merely contemplate the world. He works with a view to changing it. The materialistic philosophy and approach of Marxism, with its faith in naked violence and hatred, and the spiritual view and approach of Indian thought, with its faith in the innate goodness and educability of the human being, differ widely in methods and results, in spite of starting with common objectives. In the words of Dr. Radhakrishnan from the book Religion and Society, and Swami quotes, "In its concern for the poor and the lowly, in its demand for a more equitable distribution of wealth and opportunity, in its insistence on rational equality, it gives us a social message with which all idealists are in agreement. But our sympathy for the social program does not necessarily commit us to the Marxist philosophy of life. Its atheistic conception of ultimate reality, its naturalistic view of man, and its disregard for the sacredness of personality." Unquote. The Swami continues, Vedanta understands and appreciates the Marxist passion for human betterment. Whether we search into the theoretical statements of its objectives or into the practical conduct of its exemplars, we shall never miss this human element in this philosophy, whose quest is for truth that will most conduce to human happiness and welfare, and whose passion is to verify its truth in life and society. And that truth it finds in the spiritual unity and solidarity of existence. Conclusion. The social outlook and program of Vedanta, proceeding as they do from this truth and periodically set in motion by its greatest exemplars, the avatars, naturally tend to ease the tensions and conflicts obtaining in a society through its insistence on the values of freedom, equality, and the sacredness of personality, and through the spiritual direction it gives to surplus social energies. The Avatara, thus, is the dominating spiritual hero of an epoch who functions as the dynamic source of a creative social process and the sustenance and guide of an egalitarian social order. Thank you, friends, for your time and attention as we conclude this chapter today. It is interesting to know that this talk was offered by the Swami over All India Radio in Delhi way back in 1950 on March 3rd. In the next episode, we will read another chapter keeping with the theme of the Avatara, where Swami Ranganathananda delves into aspects of the divinity of the Avatara. I cannot wait to share that chapter with you, but that'll happen in the next episode. For now, I thank you for your presence here and I wish you well. This is Preetha and you were listening to readings from the Eternal Values by Swami Ranganathananda. Namaste.